Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, welcome to Build a PC with Syah. Last week, we have touched on the motherboard. This week, we're going to talk about graphics card. So what is a graphics card? Basically, it's the place where all the computations happen, just like in a processor. But instead of concentrating on all of the computations in your PC, like the processor, the graphics card concentrates on just the visual effects happening on your PC. So you see, in a PC, there's millions and millions of computations happening every second in your processor can't handle all of that computation alone, especially when gaming. So a graphics card takes that burden off from the processor and do the visual calculations and send it to the processor. Now let's take a closer look at Nvidia's graphics card. So this one is a quite old graphics card. I borrowed from my friend, but during its time it's considered a high-end graphics card. You can see it's quite long, because a typical mid-range or low-cost graphics card will, the length will be up to here. So you can see the extra length here. And AMD, or used to be known as ATI, AMD brought them. They also have a high-end graphics card, which can be as long as this one. But the design is quite different. Some manufacturers have different coolers and heatsink design, so you can see the different cooling and heatsink setup for each different manufacturers. So let's take a closer look at this graphics card. At the top, at the front of on top of the card, it's the heatsink sitting on top of the GPU, the graphics processing unit. You can see at the back, it sits right here. So the heatsink sucks all the heat from the GPU, and the fan here will blow air on top of the heatsink and cools down the heatsink. Moving on to the top here, you can see the power connectors, which connects to the power supply. So high-end graphics card need a little more power compared to the mid-range graphics card. So you can see there's 6 pin and an extra 8 pin connector. So Nvidia recommends at least 600 to 750 watts of power supply for this kind of graphics card, for one graphics card. If you're planning on multiple GPUs, you need at least 1000 watts of power supply. Now we move on to the back of the graphics card, where the ports for the monitors to connect to. So you can see here it has a 2 DVI port and 1 HDMI port. The newer ones have display port and more HDMI ports compared to this one. So you can see some hardcore gamers have multiple monitors set up, 3 monitors, even 6 monitors. So for that kind of setup, you need sometimes 2, 3, even 4 graphics card. So you need to spend more if you want to be that kind of hardcore gamers. So speaking of money, let's talk about what to look out for when you go shopping for a graphics card. Okay, you need to know there's 2 different brands. You can say 2 different big GPU suppliers. There's one from Nvidia and one from AMD. AMD just bought, not just actually, a few years back, bought ATI, and they now have control of the ATI graphics card. So there's AMD and Nvidia. Now currently Nvidia is leading the race for the best high performance graphics card with its GTX 680 graphics card. But recently, a few weeks back, AMD just released their latest flagship, which is the 7990. That graphics card is a combination of 2 GPU. So on one card it has 2 GPUs, and some benchmark has revealed that it's surpassed the GTX 680 in a few games. But you have to remember that kind of high-end graphics card costs a lot of money. Even AMD's Radeon 7970 costs almost 1,500 ringgit. So imagine the 7990 coming here in Malaysia, it might cost as high as 2,000, even more. So if you don't have that kind of money for a high-end graphics card, you can settle for mid-range, either AMD's 7770 series or 78 series. The 78 series costs around 600 to 700. The 77 series costs about 3 to 400 plus. An equivalent to that from Nvidia, you can go for the GTX 630, the mid-range one, and up to the 650 or 660, depending on your budget. Graphics card, they have a lot of different manufacturers. There's Asus, there's Gigabyte, there's MSI, there's Syah, but Syah makes only AMD graphics card. Nvidia, Asus still makes both AMD and Nvidia graphics card, as well as Gigabyte, MSI. And for the budget users, you have MLPTech, who makes good low cost graphics, Nvidia graphics card. For me, in my opinion, if you wanna save budget on a graphics card, you can go for AMD Syah graphics card, or Nvidia, you go for the MLPTech one. Okay, if you're wondering which graphics card is better than the others, you can look up some few sites for benchmarks or recommendations, even reviews, and they compare the performance, the price as well. I usually go to Techpowerup or Tom's Hardware, even Guru 3D. They have a lot of different reviews and benchmarks when a new graphics card comes in. There's also many other websites you can check, and I will list down in the description below. So when you're buying a new graphics card, this is what you get inside the box. Usually there's manuals, guidebooks, and the graphics card will be stored in an anti-static bag to protect it from damage. And inside you can see there's DVI to VGA connectors. This is a standard in all graphics card. This is a power connector to convert for all power supplies who don't have a 6-pin connector. So you can use this if your power supply supports it. There's enough power. And there's also for graphics card with display port, you can convert the display port into a HDMI, so the connector is applied. And that's about it. Okay, so now you have learned a little bit more about graphics card. So next week we'll be looking at 2 PC components, RAMs and hard disk. So stay tuned. See you next week.